John Parker, a man in his early 40s, wandered through the bustling streets of New York City, blending into the background of urban chaos. His clothes were tattered, his face lined with hardship, yet his eyes held a spark of curiosity and intelligence. Despite his homeless status, John was a self-taught electronics enthusiast, constantly scavenging for discarded gadgets and broken devices. One crisp autumn evening, as John rummaged through a dumpster behind an electronics store, he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Buried beneath a pile of obsolete circuit boards and tangled wires was a sleek metallic device unlike anything he had ever seen. It was about the size of a small book, with an unfamiliar symbol glowing faintly on its surface. Intrigued, John carefully extricated the device and hurried back to his makeshift workshop in an abandoned warehouse. He placed it on a rickety table, illuminated by a single flickering bulb. As he examined the device, it suddenly sprang to life, projecting a holographic image into the air. "Help us," the hologram pleaded, showing a planet under siege. Alien ships bombarded the surface, and the desperate cries of its inhabitants echoed through the projection. "We are the Zolarians, and our homeworld is under attack by the Dravkans. We need your help." John stared in disbelief. This was no ordinary piece of technology. It was a beacon from another world, seeking assistance from Earth. He knew that his discovery could change everything, but he also understood that convincing anyone of its authenticity would be a monumental task. The next morning, John awoke to a blinding light flooding his workshop. Startled, he shielded his eyes and saw three towering ethereal beings standing before him. They were the Zolarians, their slender forms and luminescent skin shimmering in the dim light. "John Parker," one of them spoke in a melodic, almost musical tone, "we have traced our distress signal to you. We need your help to save our civilization." John, still groggy and disoriented, struggled to process the surreal situation. "Me? I'm just a nobody. How can I help an advanced alien race?" The Zolarian, who introduced himself as Nira, explained that their technology had detected a unique signal in John's workshop. "Your world, despite its apparent limitations, possesses a distinct form of ingenuity and resilience. We believe you can offer a fresh perspective that might be the key to our survival." With little time to deliberate, John agreed to accompany the Zolarians back to their spaceship. As he stepped outside, he marveled at the sleek, disc-shaped craft hovering above the warehouse. The Zolarians led him aboard, and within moments they were soaring through the cosmos, leaving Earth behind. During the journey, John was introduced to the wonders of Zolarian technology. The ship's interior was a marvel of organic and inorganic fusion, with living walls that responded to touch and devices that seemed to operate on thought alone. Despite the advanced surroundings, John couldn't shake the feeling of being an outsider. Nira guided John to the ship's command center, where he was briefed on the dire situation facing the Zolarians. The Dravkans, a warlike species bent on conquest, had launched a relentless assault on Zolaria. Their advanced weaponry and ruthless tactics had brought the Zolarians to the brink of extinction. John listened intently, absorbing every detail. "What can I do that your own people can't?" he asked, genuinely curious. "Our society has advanced in many ways," Nira explained, "but we have become reliant on certain methodologies and technologies. Your world's approach to problem-solving is different. We need that unconventional thinking to find solutions we might overlook." With a newfound sense of purpose, John set to work alongside the Zolarian engineers. He quickly bonded with Lyra, a brilliant and resourceful engineer who shared his passion for innovation. Together, they began to brainstorm ways to integrate human ingenuity with Zolarian technology. As they approached Zolaria, John couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He was about to step onto an alien world and play a pivotal role in a conflict that would determine the fate of an entire civilization. Little did he know that his journey was only just beginning, and that his ordinary life was about to become anything but ordinary. John's first glimpse of Zolaria was breathtaking. The planet, seen through the viewport of the Zolarian ship, glowed with vibrant colors. Towering crystal spires, vast lush forests, and shimmering seas stretched out beneath them. But the beauty was marred by signs of destruction, smoking ruins, cratered landscapes, and defensive fortifications hastily erected against the Dravkan threat. As the ship descended towards the Zolarian capital, Lyra continued to teach John about their advanced technologies. John was particularly fascinated by their energy manipulation capabilities and how they used crystalline structures to channel and amplify power. "You see," Lyra explained, holding up a glowing crystal, "our technology is deeply intertwined with the natural resources of our planet. This crystal, for example, can store and release energy far more efficiently than anything on your world." John nodded, absorbing the information. "But it also means if these resources are targeted, you're left vulnerable. We need to find ways to diversify and protect your energy sources." Lyra looked impressed. "Precisely. That's where your human ingenuity comes in. You see solutions where we might only see limitations." Upon landing, John was taken to the Zolarian Council, a group of wise and regal beings who led their society. The council chamber was a vast, domed hall with translucent walls that displayed the devastated landscape outside. "John Parker," the head counselor Xandra greeted him. "We welcome you to Zolaria, and thank you for your willingness to assist us. Time is of the essence, and we must act swiftly to implement any new strategies you can provide." John, feeling the weight of their expectations, took a deep breath. "I'll do everything I can to help, but I need to understand your defenses and the Dravkan tactics first." Over the next few days, John and Lyra worked tirelessly to assess the situation. John was struck by the elegance and complexity of Zolarian technology, but he also saw opportunities for improvement. He proposed several modifications to their defensive systems, including the integration of human-style redundancy measures and fail-safes. One of his key ideas was to create a network of decentralized power sources using smaller portable energy units. This would prevent the Dravkans from crippling their defenses by targeting a single central power station. The Zolarians, initially skeptical, began to see the merit in John's suggestions as the prototypes proved successful. The alarm blared throughout the Zolarian capital, signaling an impending Dravkan attack. John and Lyra rushed to the command center, where they joined the frantic preparations. On the holographic display, the Dravkan fleet loomed ominously, their dark, angular ships cutting through space like predators. "This is it," John said, steeling himself for the battle. "We need to implement the new defenses now." Lyra nodded and relayed the orders. The Zolarian engineers quickly deployed the portable energy units, while the defensive grid was recalibrated to utilize the new power sources. The command center buzzed with activity as everyone worked to prepare for the assault. When the Dravkan ships entered the atmosphere, they were met with a barrage of plasma fire from the Zolarian defenses. John watched intently as his modifications came into play. The decentralized power network prevented the Dravkans from disabling the defenses with their usual tactics, and the electromagnetic pulse emitters he had devised disrupted their drones and smaller craft. The initial wave of Dravkan forces was repelled, and the battle just started. The Dravkans regrouped and launched a more coordinated attack, targeting the Zolarian defensive outposts with brutal precision. John realized they needed to take the fight to the Dravkans to stand a chance. "Lyra, we need to hit them where it hurts," John said, his mind racing with possibilities. "Can we launch a counterattack on their command ship?" Lyra's eyes widened. "It's risky, but if we can take out their leadership, it might buy us enough time to regroup and strengthen our defenses." With approval from the council, John and Lyra led a strike team on a daring mission. They boarded a stealth vessel, using its cloaking capabilities to slip past the Dravkan fleet. As they approached the command ship, John's heart pounded. This was his first real taste of interstellar combat, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The infiltration was tense and perilous. The team navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Dravkan command ship, avoiding patrols and security systems. When they finally reached the central control room, they were confronted by the Dravkan commander, a towering figure clad in menacing armor. "Humans," the commander sneered, recognizing John. "You think your primitive technology can defeat us?" John stood firm. "It's not just about technology, it's about innovation, adaptability, and the will to survive." A fierce battle ensued. John and Lyra fought side by side, using a combination of Zolarian weaponry and improvised tactics to outmaneuver the Dravkans. Despite the commander's strength, John's determination and resourcefulness gave him the edge. In a final desperate move, John managed to disable the ship's power core, crippling the Dravkan fleet's command structure. As they made their escape, John knew that this victory was only temporary. The Dravkans would regroup again. But for now, he had proven that even an ordinary man could make an extraordinary difference. The aftermath of the successful counterattack on the Dravkan command ship brought a glimmer of hope to the beleaguered Zolarians and their allies. News of John's ingenuity and bravery spread quickly, inspiring renewed vigor among the defenders. However, John knew they couldn't afford to become complacent. The Dravkans were a resilient and formidable foe, and their retaliation would be swift and brutal. Back in the Zolarian capital, John, Lyra, and the Council convened to strategize their next move. They needed to leverage the momentum gained from the recent victory to build a more robust defense system and prepare for the inevitable Dravkan counterattack. "John, your unconventional ideas have been invaluable," Xandra, the head counselor, said. "But we need more. We need something that will not just defend us, but turn the tide decisively in our favor." John pondered for a moment before a spark of inspiration lit his eyes. "We need to harness the power of your crystalline technology in a way that the Dravkans won't expect. What if we created a network of mobile, heavily armed platforms that can adapt to different combat scenarios?" Lyra's eyes widened with excitement. "Yes, like mobile fortresses that can change their configuration based on the threat. They could serve as both offensive and defensive units, giving us the flexibility we need." The Council approved the idea, and John and Lyra set to work on designing these mobile fortresses. They combined Zolarian energy crystals with human engineering principles to create versatile platforms equipped with powerful weapons, shields, and advanced sensors. These fortresses could move quickly across the battlefield, providing support where it was needed most, and striking at the heart of the Dravkan forces. As they worked tirelessly, the bond between John and Lyra deepened. They shared stories of their respective worlds, finding common ground in their passion for innovation and their determination to protect their people. John's resourcefulness and Lyra's technical expertise proved to be a formidable combination. When the first prototypes were ready, they conducted a series of tests in simulated combat scenarios. The results were promising, and the Zolarian military began mass-producing the mobile fortresses. These new units, named Auroras after the dazzling light displays of Earth's northern skies, quickly became a symbol of hope and resilience. The timing couldn't have been better. The Dravkans launched a massive assault, determined to crush the Zolarian resistance once and for all. Their fleet descended upon Zolaria with overwhelming force, but this time, the defenders were ready. The Auroras, with their adaptive capabilities, proved to be a game-changer. They moved fluidly across the battlefield, intercepting Dravkan attacks and countering with devastating precision. John and Lyra, operating from the command center, coordinated the defense with a mix of strategic brilliance and sheer audacity. The battle raged on, fierce and relentless. John's heart pounded as he issued orders, his mind racing with calculations and contingency plans. The Dravkans were relentless, but the Zolarians and their allies fought back with unmatched determination. The Auroras, shining beacons of hope, cut through the enemy ranks, pushing the Dravkans back. In a critical moment, John saw an opportunity to strike a decisive blow. "Lyra, we need to target their flagship. If we can take it out, it will disrupt their entire command structure." Lyra nodded, her eyes focused and determined. "Let's do it." Using the Auroras, they launched a daring assault on the Dravkan flagship. The battle was intense, with the Dravkans throwing everything they had to defend their leader. But John's strategy and the Aurora's versatility gave them the upper hand. In a final explosive confrontation, they managed to breach the flagship's defenses and destroy its core. The destruction of the flagship sent shockwaves through the Dravkan fleet. Disoriented and leaderless, the Dravkans began to retreat. The Zolarians and their allies pressed their advantage, driving the invaders out of their system. The victory against the Dravkan fleet was a turning point in the war. With the enemy in retreat, the Zalarians and their allies seized the opportunity to fortify their defenses and regroup. However, John knew that to ensure lasting peace, they needed more than just military might. They needed a united front of allied civilizations. John proposed the formation of a grand alliance to stand against the Dravkan threat and any future aggressors. His charisma and vision resonated with leaders from various species who had been oppressed or threatened by the Dravkans. A summit was convened on Zalaria, bringing together representatives from dozens of civilizations. The summit was a spectacle of diversity and diplomacy. Alien delegates of all shapes and sizes gathered in the Grand Council chamber, each bringing their unique perspectives and strengths. John, now a respected figure, stood before them to present his vision. "Friends," John began, his voice steady and confident, "we have all suffered at the hands of the Dravkans, but together we have shown that we are capable of resisting their tyranny. Our victory is not just a triumph of technology or strategy, it is a testament to our collective strength and unity." He paused, allowing his words to sink in. "We must forge a lasting alliance, one that transcends our differences and unites us in our common cause. Together we can create a future where no civilization lives in fear, where our combined knowledge and resources can bring prosperity and peace to all." The delegates listened intently, and one by one they voiced their support. The alliance was formally established, with John playing a pivotal role in its formation. This new coalition, known as the Galactic Union, pledged to stand together against any threat and to foster cooperation and mutual respect among its members. As the alliance took shape, John and Lyra found themselves navigating a complex web of diplomatic relations and cultural exchanges. The process was challenging, but their combined talents and the trust they had built with the Zalarian Council proved invaluable. In the midst of these developments, John continued to innovate. He proposed the creation of a shared research and development center, where scientists and engineers from across the galaxy could collaborate on projects that would benefit all member civilizations. The idea was met with enthusiasm, and soon the Galactic Innovation Center was established. Despite the progress, the Dravkan threat still loomed large. Intelligence reports indicated that they were regrouping and preparing for a massive counteroffensive. John and Lyra worked tirelessly to ensure that the alliance was ready. One evening, as they reviewed strategic plans, Lyra turned to John with a thoughtful expression. "John, do you ever miss Earth, your old life?" John smiled wistfully. "Sometimes, but I've found a new purpose here. And besides, I've made friends and allies that I never could have imagined back home. This is where I belong now." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting the same determination. "We've come a long way, but there's still much to do. Together we can make a difference." As the alliance solidified and preparations for the next phase of the war continued, John felt a renewed sense of hope. The journey had been arduous, and the road ahead was uncertain, but with unity, ingenuity, and unwavering resolve, they would face whatever challenges the future held. John Parker, the once ordinary man from the streets of New York, had become a symbol of human resilience and ingenuity. He had shown the galaxy that even the most unlikely heroes could change the course of history. And as he gazed up at the stars, he knew that the adventure was far from over. The best was yet to come. The peace and progress of the newly formed Galactic Union were short-lived. As the Alliance solidified its defenses and shared knowledge, the Dravkans were regrouping and plotting their revenge. Intelligence reports from the front lines suggested that the Dravkans were amassing a colossal fleet, one far larger and more dangerous than any they had deployed before. John, Lyra, and the rest of the Alliance's leadership convened to address the looming threat. The atmosphere was tense, the stakes higher than ever. "We have reliable information that the Dravkans are planning a full-scale assault," said Admiral Tharn, a seasoned military leader from the Rebarian system. "Their new fleet is equipped with advanced weaponry, and they have developed countermeasures against our current defenses." John, leaning over the holographic map of the galaxy, nodded. "We need to anticipate their moves and adapt quickly. The Auroras have been effective, but we must innovate further. Lyra, her face resolute, proposed a bold plan. We should consider a preemptive strike on their main staging area. It's risky, but it could disrupt their preparations and buy us valuable time. The council debated the plan, weighing the risks and potential benefits. After intense discussions, they decided to proceed with the preemptive strike. A coalition task force, comprising the best ships and warriors from the allied species, was assembled. John and Lyra led the task force, their ship at the forefront of the assault. The journey to the Dravkan staging area was fraught with tension, but the resolve of the task force was unwavering. They knew that failure was not an option. As they emerged from hyperspace, the Dravkan fleet came into view. It was an awe-inspiring sight, a massive armada bristling with weaponry. The Dravkans, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the coalition forces, scrambled to respond. "Execute the plan," John ordered, his voice steady. The task force launched a coordinated attack, targeting the Dravkan supply lines and key command ships. The battle was intense, with ships clashing in a dazzling display of firepower. John's tactical brilliance and Lyra's technical expertise were on full display as they outmaneuvered the Dravkans, causing significant disruption to their preparations. Despite their initial success, the Dravkans quickly regrouped and counterattacked with ferocity. The coalition forces found themselves in a brutal fight for survival. John and Lyra's ship was heavily damaged, but they continued to lead, refusing to back down. But surprise attack played its part. The Dvarkans suffered heavy casualties and lost their best fighters during the counteroffense. They decided to retreat to save the remaining battleships from annihilation. The aftermath of the preemptive strike was a mixture of relief and exhaustion. The Dravkans, though temporarily thwarted, were far from defeated. The coalition forces returned to Zelaria to regroup and repair, but the knowledge that they had bought precious time spurred them to redouble their efforts. John and Lyra, despite their success, knew that the next phase of the war would be even more challenging. The Dravkans would adapt, and the Alliance needed to stay one step ahead. They convened with the Council to discuss the next steps. "We need to fortify our defenses and continue to innovate," John said. "The Auroras have been effective, but we need more advanced technologies to maintain our edge." Lyra agreed. "We should focus on developing new energy weapons and improving our defensive systems. We also need to enhance our intelligence-gathering capabilities to anticipate their moves." The Council approved their proposals, and the Galactic Innovation Center became a hive of activity. Scientists and engineers from across the galaxy collaborated on new projects, sharing knowledge and expertise. The spirit of cooperation and mutual respect that John had envisioned was now a reality. As they worked, John and Lyra also focused on strengthening the Alliance's unity. They organized joint training exercises, cultural exchanges, and diplomatic missions to build trust and solidarity among the member species. These efforts paid off, as the Alliance grew more cohesive and resilient. One evening, as they reviewed the latest progress reports, John turned to Lyra. "We've come a long way, but there's still so much to do. The Dravkans won't give up easily." Lyra nodded, her expression determined. "We'll be ready. We have the best minds and the strongest warriors in the galaxy on our side. Together we can overcome any challenge." Their preparations were soon put to the test. The Dravkans launched a series of probing attacks, testing the Alliance's defenses. Each time, the coalition forces repelled the invaders with increasing efficiency and confidence. The new technologies and strategies developed by John and Lyra proved to be highly effective. In one particularly fierce engagement, the Dravkans attempted to breach the defenses of a key Alliance world. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering heavy losses. John and Lyra, leading the defense from the front lines, inspired their troops with their courage and determination. As the battle reached its climax, John saw an opportunity to deliver a decisive blow. "Lyra, if we can flank their main assault force, we can cut off their retreat and force them to surrender." Lyra's eyes lit up with determination. "Let's do it." With precise coordination, they executed a flanking maneuver, catching the Dravkans off guard. The enemy forces, now surrounded and demoralized, began to fall apart. The coalition forces pressed their advantage, driving the Dravkans into a full retreat. The victory was a turning point in the war. The Dravkans, realizing that they could no longer rely on brute force, began to seek diplomatic solutions. The Galactic Union, strengthened by its recent successes, was now in a position of power. The remnants of the Dravkan forces retreated to their homeworld, and the Galactic Union emerged victorious. Celebrations erupted across Zelaria and the allied planets, as people rejoiced in the hard-won peace. Back on Zelaria, John, Lyra, and the Council convened to discuss the future. The war had forged a strong alliance, but maintaining and expanding that unity would be the next challenge. "We've achieved something incredible," John said, addressing the Council. "But our work is far from over. We need to ensure that the Galactic Union remains a force for peace and cooperation." Xandra, the head counselor, nodded. "We must continue to strengthen our bonds and support each other. The Galactic Innovation Center will play a crucial role in advancing our technologies and addressing any future threats." Lyra added, "We should also focus on rebuilding the worlds affected by the war. Our combined resources can help restore what was lost and improve the quality of life for all." The Council agreed, and a comprehensive plan for reconstruction and development was put in place. The Galactic Union would not only be a military alliance, but also a community of shared knowledge, culture, and prosperity. In the months that followed, John and Lyra traveled across the galaxy, visiting member planets and fostering collaboration. They witnessed the fruits of their labor as devastated worlds began to rebuild, and new technologies improved lives across the Union. One evening, as they stood on the balcony of the Zolarian capital, John turned to Lyra. "We've come a long way, from a homeless man in New York to leading an interstellar alliance. It's been quite a journey." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the shimmering city lights. "And it's only the beginning. There's so much more we can achieve together." John nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment and hope. The challenges had been immense, but the rewards were even greater. The Galactic Union was a testament to the power of unity, ingenuity, and resilience. As they gazed up at the stars, John knew that their adventure was far from over. There were still countless wonders to discover, new challenges to face, and a galaxy full of possibilities. With their unwavering resolve and the strength of their alliance, they were ready to embrace the future. John Parker, the ordinary homeless man who had become an extraordinary hero, looked to the stars with a heart full of hope and a mind brimming with ideas. The journey ahead was unknown, but with allies by his side and a spirit of unity guiding them, he was confident that the best was yet to come.